So unfortunately, I was moving all my files from my camera to my desktop, so I didn't actually get to film how I was making this. So this is for the bottom of the bathtub. It will be like a blockage so my cat can't go under it, and just basically protect it from water going in or out of it. So I aligned the current panel that goes on the side of the bathtub, and I dropped it down here on the floor on a few pieces of plywood, and I just used a pencil marker to draw a line to the back of it, and then I cut a few pieces, and then from the bottom side I used some screws just to join it all up together. Now I had to cut out some areas here, here and here, because that is where the 3 blocks go to hold up the bathtub itself. And yeah, so this is a bit of a blowout, I guess. A blowout, would you call it? But that doesn't matter. Basically, this, the bottom piece, the plywood was just there to keep the shape of this perspex or whatever it's called. It's not acrylic, I don't think. I think it's called perspex or something like that. So that will be basically the whole barrier. So it's around 12 centimeters high. So that should be it. That is high enough. I measured how much I'll need. I'll need around 11 centimeters. So I thought I'll go 1 centimeter higher. So that will do. So now I'm going to put it upstairs and just check to make sure everything fits. I might need to cut this area off because I think that's a bit too long. And then I need to merge this area. I think I could do that with a soldering iron, but I'm going to do it on the test piece first to make sure that actually heat can merge them. So what I did now is I put in the bottom panel that I just made, and then put the middle panel on top. Now this lets me adjust the perfect positioning by feeling the lip of this, and then I could estimate how much slack, because there's a lot of space here, for example. So I measured some masking tape there. So this will be like my guideline of where I will actually need to secure this. So yeah, I think this is looking very good. So I can actually remove this panel and then finish shaping this. So this, well, the shape is pretty much complete. Now I just need to merge this, remove the top layer of this. It's got like protection layer on top. So yeah, merge this with soldering iron. And to be honest, I'm just gonna paint it white. I think if I paint it black, you will be able to see different kind of curvature, which I don't want. So I'm just gonna paint it white. I think I got some spare paint anyway, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'll do very thin coats because I think I'm going to use the same paint that I used for here, which was a nitro actually, and I hate nitro paints, but I'm going to give it a go anyway. Let's see what happens. So just merging them now, and using a soldering iron, and I got a bit of a donut piece here just to add some more thickness, because if I merge the 2 pieces they would go under, so I need to fill it in with some donut piece here. So similar way I use soldering iron on plastics, and then sanding it all down, adding a bit of extra grit so that the paint actually grabs on. Pretty straightforward, and I didn't want to be too bothered about this either, as it's going to be under the bathtub, so it's not like you're going to have a close-up look of it anyway. Okay, so the piece is ready for paint. So let's get to it. I'll get some nitro. I only done a few layers. I didn't need to go overboard with this, but the area that I merged, that area I need to do a few more. I'm going back and forth with this panel, but this middle bit keeps having a few spots that are not seamless, which is really annoying me. So I keep sanding it down, filling it in with super glue. That's what I'm really filling it in with. I tried super glue and baking powder, then sand it back down, but there's still a few spots that are just not filling. So since the concrete below is concrete, I meant the floor below is concrete, I'm using a masonry drill, making some holes for the raw plugs, and I think I fit around 6 raw plugs so that the bottom panel won't move at all. I think I'm drilling around 8mm hole for the 8mm raw plugs, vacuuming them up and hammering them in. aligning to the previous masking taped guides. And ignore that nasty sewage pipe, but that's going to get cleaned out later on with loads and loads of chemicals. And now that the raw plugs and the holes have been piloted and drilled out, I can actually clean it up and remove the masking tape. And now this is upside down. I'm actually siliconing the whole thing down because I don't want any water going underneath this because it's a wooden piece. And on the inside, it was pretty straightforward. Just done a quick swipe with the profiler and that was done. I also applied the silicone to the beams that are holding up the bathtub itself. But we're going to start with some nightmares of the silicone very soon. It was not fun because it was the start of the siliconing and it was doing my head in. But on the inside, it was pretty straightforward, as it doesn't really matter how it looks. But this was a bit of a learning curve with the siliconing. So it was really awkward doing this, but this area won't even be seen. It wasn't even very necessary, but I siliconed behind those beams anyway, since they're wooden. And yeah, it doesn't hurt, so you know. Okay, this is where we're gonna start fucking up. Because although I filled it in nicely here, what I done that was wrong was I kept on trying to save any excess that I keep on pulling off with the profiler. So you see I'm going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and I'm letting the silicone cure. So what I've learned from this was that you cannot give the silicone any time to dry, because when you come back to it in a minute or two, it's gonna already start curing and hardening, and when it does start hardening, you cannot swipe it anymore. You need to just leave for like 24 hours after that 1 minute that it's been standing out there. And you see that in the corner, it looks like a right mess because it is. So you can see there, I'm just leaving that to dry whilst I'm doing something else. Very bad move on my part. But yeah, this was like a learning process anyway. So that I'm just filling in that massive nasty sewage pipe. Oh no, it's not nasty. I did actually clean that sewage pipe with loads and loads of chemicals. But this is as clean as it will get. But that's where shit goes anyway. I mean, what are you gonna do about it? So yeah, you can see that I'm going back to the initial line that I did on the left, and it wasn't going well. So I went and done a nice line, and then I cleaned this line up and then restarted it fresh because I saw that it was hardening and it wasn't going well. So yeah, really speeding it up here because I was quite embarrassed of myself, but it was just getting repetitive. And now I'm using this Fernox sealant, and that is just to create a very nice tight seal for sewage pipes. And I love that stuff. It really does a great job of sealing any leaks. Now I didn't have any leakage points at those sewage pipe connectors, but I thought I'd fix it in because I'm gonna fix it in the panel on the side. But using a lot of Fernox here as well because I do not want to disassemble the toilet at all. And once it's fixed in place, I want to just leave it there. Now the massive sewage pipe is getting raised a bit, so I'm going to have to apply a bit more silicone sealant later on. I 3D printed these TPU bushings. So the screw that I'll screw in here, that is going into wood. That's why I didn't get a raw plug there. And then I'll just hand tighten it. Yeah, it was a bit of a nightmare removing those original screws there, but I got them out eventually, and I did not want to lose the thread, so I thought I'd hand tighten it. So since it's already open, I might as well use all of this up, because once you close it, this thing cures throughout. So let's have a quick overview of what I did. I only done this curve, the back, the sewage, which I'll need to do more since once I lifted it, the hole got changed a little bit. But what I learned was that you need to work with this quick, and you shouldn't really try to save the silicone itself, because what I was doing is I was wiping the excess off on my finger and re-putting it. I should not have done that. Instead, I should just squeeze it all out and let the gun push the gun and let the silicone push me along, because as you squeeze, the gun is actually very good. As you squeeze, the silicone makes you move the gun back. So that was my issue. When I was worried that, like, when I was going to do this, I was worried that how will I feel when I should move it, the pressure basically. But you feel the pressure because as you squeeze the silicone out, it moves the gun for you. The volume of it, the actual silicone itself, it moves it for you. So I just need to do the whole edge and only then do one quick swipe. Not quick, just one swipe. And I shouldn't try to save the silicone because you'll waste too much time and the silicone is going to start to form and harden, and if it does, then it's pointless, as in not pointless. If it hardens, when it starts to harden, you can't move it, you can't spread it. So that's what I done wrong. I tried to save too much by wiping it and reusing it, and by the time I done that, it started to harden, and I ended up having to remove it all, which wasted more material in return. Besides, those silicones are cheap anyway, they're like £5. So I'm gonna have to buy like 3 more bottles of them, because I need to do that edge. What else was I gonna do? I'm gonna do the top of this, which goes on top here. And I'm gonna redo this edge as well. I'm gonna redo those edges. So yeah, but I've learned a lot. That's fine. I've still got 2 edges done, and this is now finally secured.